I'm joined by our political editor, Andrew Clennell. Andrew, the latest wage numbers have just been released. I'll go through a couple of the key points here. 4.2% growth over the year to December 2023. It rose 0.9%. That's the wage price index for the December quarter. Private sector quarterly rise was 0.9%. The public sector, 1.3% seasonally adjusted. But all in all, good news for the government with annual growth at 4.2% over the year, which is more than the most recent inflation rate.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's very interesting what you've just read out there about the public sector, because it shows with Labor back, the unions are getting a bit more of a say, Kieran. I think, that's a bit broad brush, but I think that's what you can tell out of that. Workers obviously will welcome the news. They've been absolutely copying it in terms of inflation, but politically the government will welcome the news. And Jim Chalmers is up on that shortly, because he'll see a situation here, he's up in the next hour or so, where, wages are going up, inflation is tempering down. It's a perfect storm for the fortunes of the government as they deliver more on tax cuts, and they've made so many IR reforms, they'd have to claim credit for at least some of that. The danger's always been that wage price spiral. Perhaps they've avoided it. And it's figures like this, Kieran, which leads to this speculation. Could we see an election in November or December this year? It's wedged between a Queensland election, a US election, a WA election next March. We still have to have a federal redistribution. There's so many reasons not to have it this year, but are there a whole bunch of economic reasons to have it? Wages up, inflation coming down, unemployment low, rate cuts at the end of the year. Will there ever be a better time than the end of this year to have an election? Well, not according to the PM. I mean, he also told us, I should point out, that the tax cuts will be staying the same, and that didn't happen. Politicians do have the prerogative to change their mind, as do prime ministers.